All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about basic tools to start doing alignments. We've done a little bit of an expansion and we've added a second building that we're going to be expanding quite a bit into, but we've already got an alignment rack in there and we're doing our alignments in-house. There's been some random comments about tires. We've had tire equipment since we opened, and for the most part we kicked it over to a chain store called Kaufman Tire. Well, unfortunately they've been bought out by Mavis. We're not really happy with how they're treating customers, so we're bringing tires back in-house and we'll be doing tires from now on. Both of our service riders and one of our techs comes from Kaufman/Mavis, so they're well tuned with tires, so we have added that. And before I get the questions about the blue gloves, I don't like them. With everything going on, our glove supplier, the glove lady, is having a hard time getting the normal latex that we normally use. So they're in a little bit of short supply. I grabbed some nitrile for this video so I don't waste the good gloves that I like, because other guys like these gloves, I don't. Sorry for the tangent on the topic of the video, but I digress. Let's get over to what you really need when it comes to alignments. Basic stuff now. We're not talking, caster camber, shifting subframes, any of that stuff. We're just talking the basic stuff that you need to start doing alignments. Figured it was a good topic since we've gotten back into alignments. Now, because I keep going in tangents, we're going to keep going. I am familiar with alignments. I've done alignments in the past. The last couple shops I've worked for, including this one, didn't have alignments, but I've done them in the past. Went back in there, it came all back to me, so not a big deal. Everybody in the shop has actually done alignments at points in their career, so everybody's familiar, so we're good to go on that. So let's get into the tools, just start doing alignment. All right, cam 2 glove cam. First thing you're gonna need for alignments. This is a big need. And I'm sorry if somebody's offended, but you're gonna need some quality wrenches. Snap-on, Mac, some really good wrenches, because you've got to use the open end on jam nuts. You have no choice. The old Craftsman, some of the cheaper options really aren't good enough, and you're going to start rounding those over, and then you've got a bigger problem. Now I've got the 32 of Max here because my entire set of these up to 24 is downstairs next to the alignment rack, because I've got extra wrenches. I left them down there so everybody would have tools to use while they're doing alignments. But this 24, the main reason I bought it back in the day, and I've owned it for a while, is alignments. 22s, 21s, 24s, jam nuts, you need quality. Because let's face it, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on that open end, and if it rounds, you're in a bad day. Now, the next thing, every alignment guy I've ever worked with always has one of these. I haven't seen the need for it, but I'm going to mention it, and that would be a cheater pipe. Now, this is my cheater pipe that never gets used, but I do own it. Forget how I wound up with it. It was lying around or something, but you want a pipe that your wrenches will fit in so you can get more leverage. There's other options. There's the little tool that clamps on and you can, extend the length, but if you're not car strong, you might want to get you a cheater bar. It's just a length of pipe. All right. Now also, in combination with this wrench, there's something I think every shop should have anyway, but a torch. Even here in the South, on non-northern cars, non-rusty cars, stuff seizes up on steering components. Even here in the South, not on northern cars, not on rusty cars, stuff seizes. A lot of times we have to use the blue tip wrench to get stuff moving, especially inner tie rod ends and stuff like that screwing into the tie rod. So I think a torch is something every shop should have anyway, but this is something that you're gonna wind up needing on an occasional basis doing alignments. And when in doubt, get your shop to get a inductive heater and do it that way with electricity instead of fire, but you're definitely gonna wind up having to heat up suspension components to get them moving if you're not replacing. All right, next we're gonna talk about a tool that, depending on your workload and what you do, you may or may not need, but it's something you really should have if you see this type, and that is the sleeved tie rod adjusters. You know, where you've got a sleeve and it clamps on and it's split down the middle and you got two clamps. You don't want to use channel locks on them because you will crush it closed and make it harder to turn. I will link it in the comments, a link to this tool, but basically all it does is latch onto that sleeve and you've got leverage to turn it. Really important if you see that type. If you don't see that type, you don't need this. All right, since we already got the channel locks out here, I don't recommend them. Really, you want the Baco / Snap-on PWZs because these have a ton of clamping force. When you go trying to get it to start turning, these move stuff. A channel lock will start slipping. You either want these or a regular pipe wrench. In fact, Eric brought a pipe wrench in to do alignments because that's how good it is having a pipe wrench. But all these are is a high leverage pair of pliers, and when you squeeze on them, the more you push down on it, the more it clamps, and trust me, it will get tie rods moving. It may suck, but they will move with these. And yes, they say Snap-on. Try to zoom in there, but it also says Baco because that's who makes it for Snap-on. It's a Snap-on company, but I will try to link these on Amazon as well because these are so worth the money when it comes to alignments. I highly recommend you get a pair of these if you're doing alignments. Obviously, you're going to need sockets, and if you're doing camber adjustments, you might need specialty tools for punching out knockouts or stuff like that, but we're talking basic tools. This is the stuff you're going to need no matter what versus the stuff you might need here or there for this car, that car. This is stuff you're going to use doing alignments. So again, I've done alignments in the past. I'm happy to bring them in-house simply for quality control and scheduling, but hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.